Lemon Amiga presents a Playguide video review. Sit back and enjoy the show.
Hey, welcome to another Lemon Amiga play guide and review. This time we'll be taking a look at International Karate Plus, better known as RK Plus, developed by Software Studios and published by System 3 in time for Christmas 1988. The game was designed and coded by Archie McLean and the music was created by Dave Lowe. If we allow the title sequence to roll, we can see the keys. By pressing F1 we can start a one-player game, F2 is a two-player match, press F3 to toggle the music on and off, and F4 will turn off the sound effects. F6 to F10 will also change the speed of the action. So let's not delay, let's press F1 and check this game out. In RK Plus we play as a karate champ and we start at the bottom of the ladder. The aim is to beat all our opponents in each round. And we have two opponents there. By scoring more hits of those opponents, you can see our points, the white dots in the top left corner. If we have more points than the others, then we will go on to the next round. If we don't, then we are out. And we have to start the whole championship again from scratch. To help us survive, the player has 16 karate moves which they can employ at their leisure. By pulling left and right, we can walk left and right, and by pulling left when the enemy is on screen, we can actually block. By pushing up, we can jump and avoid those sweep kicks from our opponents. We can also high punch as well by pushing diagonal left and right, and that will help turn us on the spot. By pulling down, we can crouch, and that will also sweep our enemies. And we can also low kick our enemies by pulling in the diagonal there in the bottom, and that will kick their shins. We can pull back in the opposite direction and that will give a low punch to their chest, and we can also perform a backflip by holding down the fire button and pulling to the left. These controls will be mirrored if we are not, and in this case if we are standing right we can pull diagonal up there to perform a scissor kick, and we can also jump by pushing up and pressing fire, a headbutt there by holding fire and pulling up and right, and we can also chest kick by pulling to the right and holding down the fire button, and turn by performing a roundhouse kick which we can hold down fire and pull on the diagonal. And we can even reverse sweep and turn around like this by pulling down and holding fire. So that's the basic maneuvers over. All we have to do now is to press F1 and see how far we can get with the championship. On level 1 the opponents are easy and we are fast enough to outmaneuver those. You saw me blocking the punch just by manoeuvring to the left there. The opponents are so easy that we can just wade in and select our favourite manoeuvre. It doesn't really matter at this stage if that connects, but that will help us memorise those connection points. The hit detection in this game really is a small window, and if we don't hit that, our fists and our feet will fly straight through the opponent. So yes, we can wade in all guns blazing, but if that does not connect, then we are wasting our time, and the enemies can just turn around and kick our ass. So at this point, it's a good idea to find those connection points and find the distance, the absolute perfect position we need to be in to pull those maneuvers, and then we can knock those guys to the ground. At the end of each round, a Mr. Miyagi character will pop up and will dole out score, depending on the time remaining. So if we can get those guys early, then we'll get the time bonus. At the end of each 2 rounds, we will also find a bonus round. Here we must use a dustbin lid to basically shield ourselves from many balls which are bouncing along, and we can use top, middle or bottom to defend ourselves by pulling the joystick in the middle, the top right and the bottom right diagonally. And you might also see heads bouncing around there intermittently, but the aim of this round is simply to survive. If we collide with one of those things, we'll be knocked out, but as long as we survive, we'll gain 100 points for every hit, and we'll actually gain 5,000 points for surviving the entire round. As you can see, these balls bounce faster and they appear faster as the time goes on, and we are up to yellow belt there because we've gone through a score checkpoint. So at 10,000 points we go up to yellow, and at 18,000 points we go up to green, and then purple belt up to black. And we can see what stage we are on belt wise on the high score table when we die. The ultimate aim of the game, just like any karate championship, is to progress from white belt to black belt, and the prestige which goes along with that. But if the player can score over 130,000 points, they will be given the prestige of the Mega Hero belt, which is the very final belt you can attain in this game. The Mega Hero Grand Master belt is there for people who can score the mega points, maybe up to round 50, and we are on round 4 at the moment, so we still have at least 110,000 to go before we get that. But sitting there on the green belt there just gives us an extra visual treat. You can see the graphics in the background to manoeuvre, and the nice animation effects of the sun there reflecting off the water, and nice sunset effect. You may also notice extra things like the fish, and there is a spider which falls down, and extra graphical treats in the background. Meanwhile, on the Amiga, the second bonus round is blowing up these bombs, and we can use low kick or sweep to knock those off the screen. I actually like to use punch there to turn around, but we can use the low sweep to turn around. And I guess the turning round aspect is probably the only low point in the controls, because it isn't easy to turn around in an emergency, even though you can perform backflips and things like that. The game was obviously designed for a one fire button joystick, and cramming 16 manoeuvres in that one fire button joystick is certainly great. And as I say, apart from that, the controls are very tight indeed, very responsive, and in the thick of action the game never freezes or slows down. And those tremendous sound effects there and explosions as those bombs blow up. Sometimes the shrapnel will kill us when it flies around the screen, but as long as we avoid those bomb blasts and the shrapnel, we shall survive. And so let's see how far we can get. And unlucky, just touched our ankle and we are out. Fortunately, we do not return to level 1 if we die in the bonus rounds, but if we die in the main rounds like this, well, sometimes it's hard to catch up. If we equal the second place, then we will still go through, and if we score 0 points just like that, well, second place will get the time bonus, but we still go through. Unfortunately, the enemies do memorise our attack patterns, and if we use the same attack patterns again and again, you will find progress more difficult. The enemies do get harder as the game goes on, and you can't simply use the sweep to knock them all off their feet like Rise of the Robots. The third bonus round sees the return of the bouncing balls, but this time they will flash, denoting they have random power. And so the flashing balls can bounce very low and then very high, and you have to align those on target because those are pretty wild and you never know quite how they're going to bounce. And I say they are bouncing balls. I've never quite seen a ball that bounces quite like this with that pattern, but ouch, a head got me there. And don't lose your head in this game, but this is not Barbarian by Palace Software, so we do not get to use a sword to chop heads or shoulders. What we do get is fists of fury, and we can knock our opponents to the ground and slam them in the chest. The effects in this game are all taken from the movie Enter the Dragon, starring Bruce Lee and Chuck Norris. The film is certainly tremendous, and whoever hasn't seen that by now must have been living on another planet. It's certainly one of the best martial arts films out there, and they basically ripped off the sound effects without telling anybody, and that's fine. Unfortunately, on the Amiga, we have just suffered a defeat, having reached level 11. So, after every match, we get to enter our name onto the high score table, which allows us to enter 3-letter words. And yes, we can actually swear in this game, and apparently according to the wiki article, if we use 3-letter words or type those in, the game will respond, but we will not do that. That was position 10 on the high score table, which is not too bad at all. But by pressing the various F keys, we can change the speed. Normal, swift and turbo there actually speed the game up, and we can also have it slow and boring as well if we want to slow the game down. But for this experiment, let's select turbo, and let's select the same game again and the same opponents, but this time let's try that in turbo mode. You'll see that turbo mode is actually very fast indeed. The player's reactions will certainly need to be on turbo if they want to master that, but I find the AI in the game may be slightly easier on turbo to compensate, and our actions will be instant to compensate as well. Unfortunately, the bouncing balls are not speeded up with the turbo, and they move pretty slowly, and it's easy to make a mistake with those things crawling along there. But turbo mode is actually very fun and very frantic. Sometimes you can just wade in there, fists flying, and gain mega progress. Sometimes you just survive, and the just about surviving in this game really makes it worth it. Just like Lotus 2, if we can scrape in there with just enough points, or if we match the points of the opponents, we'll stay in, and on turbo mode that just makes the whole thing more frantic. So I actually prefer turbo mode over the normal, and normal mode feels quite slow compared to turbo. You can see, trying to get through the first bonus round there, we're up to yellow belt, and if we complete this first bonus round and gain the 5,000 bonus, we will actually go up to green belt straight away. Let's see if we can turn that into reality, and there we go. That's certainly how you accumulate the score. So turbo mode still adds a lot to this game. In fact, you'll be surprised to learn that RK Plus still holds the world record of fastest beat 'em up ever, and that has not been beaten despite the likes of Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo and all the other mega fast Dead or Alive games that you might have seen out there. Yes, the Amiga 500 1988 release is still the fastest beat 'em up in the world. So seeing those action-packed maneuvers again, sometimes I like to jump into the action, and when the action gets packed I like to sweep, high punch and low punch my way in there, and you can perform maybe 20-30 maneuvers in a rapid succession there if you get the timing correct. And you can chain maneuvers together by performing one and then going into the next maneuver. That will actually perform the first one first and then chain the second one, and I think you can chain up to 3 maneuvers in a row simply by doing that. So even chaining maneuvers works in this game. Fortunately, we do not get extra bonus for chaining combinations together, but it is possible. The game code is rock solid, and you won't find many bugs in this game. Maybe the only bug that I have found is native to the WHD load version, and that is when a bomb explodes and some shrapnel mysteriously kills us from somewhere off the screen. So that again may be a WHD load resident bug. I don't think that was present on the original disc, although I could be wrong. Just a little background about the game. This game was designed and the graphics were created, and the whole thing was coded by Arch McLean. His first game was Drop Zone, coded for the Atari 400 and 800 machines, and Drop Zone was a big hit in 1984 for US Gold. He then almost single-handedly developed and created International Karate in 1986 for Epix and System 3, and International Karate Plus came out, developed on the C64 in 1987 by Archie McLean, who basically did everything except for the music, and then that was ported to the 16-bit machines. It was actually developed on a PC, and then the ST code was then converted to the Amiga in 1988. Archie McLean went on to Jimmy White's Whirlwind Snooker on the Amiga in 1991, and Archie McLean's Pool appeared in 1992. Archie McLean is still very much in the business, having released Mercury 2005 and Wheelspin on the Wii in 2009. He also writes a column in Retro Gamer magazine. The musician in this game was Dave Lowe. Dave Lowe also created many themes for the Amiga and TV themes such as The Really Wild Show. So Dave Lowe, this definitely is an amazing Amiga soundtrack and has been remixed many times, and you can hear remixes whilst you are reviewing this review. The music is definitely memorable and well done. On the Amiga, in turbo mode, we are just about to reach level 11 where we died before. So having kicked their asses clean off the table there with a whitewash score, we'll find level 11, the difficulty really ramps up there, and every few levels the difficulty will get harder, and then sometimes the difficulty will get easier again before returning to the hard mode. So I now have 0 points, and that means game over. So we reach level 11 again. Let's put our name in the high score table, and if we leave the credits to roll, we can actually press the arrow keys up and down to view different players in the high score. And so let's start this again. Sometimes even starting a match can be difficult. As you can see, I'm finding life tough. And let's have another try on normal and see if we can't get any further. Amazingly, this game was actually released on the quiet on the Amiga and had a very low presence in the market. Despite that, the game went on to be a big seller and voted one of the greatest Amiga games of all time. Yet, surprisingly, it is not without its share of controversy, mainly because of the Data East lawsuit, and members of the arcade community may remember that Data East released Karate Champ in the arcades in 1984. That game went on to spawn a number of clones which appeared on the 8-bit machines, of which one of those was International Karate by Epix and System 3, the predecessor to this game, and also Way of the Exploding Fist by Melbourne House. And so in 1986, Data East actually sued Epix, claiming that their title International Karate ripped off Karate Championship in the arcades. Initially, the suit was held up and International Karate was actually named World Karate Championship in the US, was actually banned and they had to take it off the shelves. And then, sometime later, that guilty verdict was reversed. And so Melbourne House, who were on the sidelines waiting to sue Epix for similar reasons, they then backed down and released Fist 2, leaving Epix to release International Karate Plus through System 3 without any further harassment. You may notice on the box of Arcade Plus that features Steven Seagal there, and Chuck Norris as someone who could be Bruce Lee or Muhammad Ali, that despite ripping off Way of the Exploding Fist, Way of the Dragon, Enter the Dragon and Steven Seagal on the cover there, well, that's why they basically released this on the quiet. But as you can see, the gameplay really stands up. The playability is amazing. The controls are super sharp and responsive. They are not laggy in the extreme. In fact, in turbo mode, they are the opposite of laggy. They are super sharp and responsive. So Archie McLean, having created these graphics as well, created an amazing sunset effect there, and I really do love the extra Easter eggs, such as the Pac-Man and the spider and the leaves which fall from the tree, birds in the sky, and fish and submarines which pop out of the water. So I really do like those Easter eggs and extra added features. This game works on all Amigas and works fast and smooth. So anyone who likes the beat-em-up genre really can't go wrong with this on the Amiga. There are certainly many inferior beat-em-ups on the Amiga, many too many to count, yet this remains among the top, if not the top, best beat-em-up on the Amiga. That wasn't such an amazing round from me, but I have got far in this game, and this game was played in 2013 in the 11 vs EAB International Super League Games competition, where I scored a Epoxy entry. You can see the level is 22 and I have a black belt. Even though I failed to qualify, I came equal last, and and that's enough to qualify for the next round. And you can also see a pointer there. The mouse pointer has actually found its way from the PC to our Amiga. You may notice we are on Swift mode, which is just a little quicker than normal, but not as excruciatingly painfully fast as Turbo. So this was recorded during the Lemon Games competition. I did gain a higher scoring run than this, 68,200 points, as you shall see at the end of this review. By level 24 bonus round, the bombs really do appear quickly and you have to be on your toes to not almost out of action. Surprisingly, the bombs can be memorised and a pattern to the bombs is evident throughout the entire game, and so even at this stage it is possible to get rid of those or otherwise avoid those and get the 5,000 credit for completing that entire level. And if you're playing for the high scores, certainly completing these bonus rounds helps towards that, and perhaps is the biggest help and the biggest advantage in the game. Unfortunately, by this stage the player's nerves are actually shot, and it really does take a dedicated player to master this game and continue at this high degree of mastery and yet still get the bonus. I just missed him there. You can punch him in the face. It really does take mastery to get the bonuses at this stage, and you can see me trying every trick in the book to block those guys, and they are demolishing my attitude and laying that flat on the floor. So what can you do? All you can do is persist, and I like to use the sweeps at this stage because that literally gets them off their feet, and everything else is a combination of punches. And I'm actually trying to scissor kick there in a corner, which will do absolutely nothing. So unless I get up off my feet pretty early, that will be another draw. And, oh, that's unfortunate there. Level 26, and that's how far I got. If we find ourselves knocked out at any point, we can push forward on the controller, and that will get us up and rise us off the ground into the match more quickly than if we leave that controller alone and leave us lying there. But unfortunately we could not get up in time to further that match. So let's start again, and let's try another round on Turbo mode by pressing F1 followed by F6. Playing IK Plus really does require a level of skill and dedication in order to master, and I might make these levels look very easy, or well, very hard actually, but it does really take some patience and dedication to master the AI in this game. And if you fool the AI by using punches in one level and then using sweeps in another, or restricting yourself to punches and kicks, then you avoid the headbutts and all the special tactics. And so if you use those later on, it is probably a good idea. In fact, when I'm playing this game, I usually avoid the sweeps until very late in the game, and then when I pull out the sweeps, the enemies aren't ready for those, and I can knock those easily off their feet. If you use the sweeps from round one, then they will get wise to that, and they will block your moves. So it is best if you knock them down, you can use a low blow, and that will knock them in the stomach and punch them back down again. Otherwise, when they are just about to get up, it is best to back off and leave them to it. If you find you are in the wrong place at the wrong time, you can always use the backflip. And it also helps to memorise a quick way to turn around, either by punching or low sweeping your way, maybe even roundhouse kicking your way around the screen, so you can turn and punch and defend yourself, because you don't really want your back to the wall. Using low sweeps there is handy if you can get those pressure points, you can get those hit points directly on target, and in turbo mode it can help to do that. See, I'm using low punches there while they're on the floor, and that sometimes helps. And so tricks and tips can be learned in this game. It is not a pushover, it is certainly not easy, but it is probably my favourite beat 'em up on the Amiga, and it's probably the only beat 'em up that I ever play, because I'm not a beat 'em up fan. You might be surprised to know that IK Deluxe was almost released in 1988. IK Plus Deluxe was created on the C64, and IK Plus Plus, as it was known, was developed on the Atari ST and was ready on the Amiga in 1988. But IK Deluxe was not released and remains on Archie McLean's shelf, gathering dust as we speak. Taking a look at the scores, Ace gave this game 72%, Amiga Computing gave it 82, Amiga Power gave it 85, The One gave this game 88%, Amiga User International gave it 90, Commodore User gave it 91%, and CU Amiga gave this game 94%, saying IK Plus is a must-have for martial arts enthusiasts and reincarnations of Bruce Lee. I like the fact that the game has certain oddments, like you can change the shadow colours, and by pressing the T key we can also pull the player's trousers down, which is yet another weird Easter egg in this game. But certainly novel and certainly different for 1988. And the humour certainly comes through in this game, and with those sound effects as well, the humour can have a tremendous effect and the player can have fun on this and a great time. But when it's over, it's all over, and that is basically the end of the game and the end of this review. Now, just a small matter of entering our initials on that high score table. Thank you for viewing this play guide and review to the Amiga classic beat 'em up IK Plus. Cheers!